So if you haven't done holographic breathing, it's really good to pay attention through this part, because with holographic breathing, a miss is as good as a mile. It's not like we're breathing and doing a visualization. There's a very particular way to do it that evokes a whole type of breathing to happen. And what we have in holographic breathing are the lips are closed, the tongue is on the, or the upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, the breath is through the nose, and then along with that, on the in-breath, the jaw very lightly opening, and then on the out-breath, the jaw is very lightly closing. The lips stay closed and the tongue stays on the roof of the mouth all of the time. And in teaching this, we start off with exercises. So it starts as an exercise, and then there's a certain point when a cellular memory starts and it becomes totally effortless. It's a bit like the jaw is just naturally moving in that way, and an energy moves through you. All sorts of different energy meridians and energy channels align, and a whole thing just starts on its own. So there's a preciseness to it, but then at a point it just disappears into its own natural cellular memory, and energy is rising up within us. So we're going to start with that now. And yeah, let's just start. So closing your eyes and just gently breathing in your own way. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little meditation, first of all, to resource ourselves. So gently breathing, send a smile to the earth and allow the earth to say hello back. Allow yourself to receive from the earth. And notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And then send a smile, send some energy to the higher self, and allow the higher self to say hello back. And notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And asking the earth and the higher self to be with you through this whole meditation as your healing guides and your resources. And then starting off, have the lips relaxed and closed, and bring the upper surface of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. And you can have as much of the tongue on the roof of the mouth as feels comfortable. It may be half an inch, it may be an inch, it may be the whole tongue on the roof of the mouth, whatever feels comfortable. And just gently breathing through the nose. Have the lips relaxed and closed. Have the tongue relaxed and on the roof of the mouth. Relax the back of the neck, relax the back of the head, and just become used to having the tongue on the roof of the mouth, the lips relaxed and closed. And now that you're used to that, just start moving the jaw up and down. just a small relaxed motion, about half a finger width, a tiny motion of the jaw up and down. It's a bit like chewing. And as you're doing that in a relaxed way, make sure that the lips stay relaxed and closed, and the tongue stays relaxed and on the roof of the mouth. And notice you can do that. You can gently move the jaw, and it's easy to keep the lips closed, and it's easy to keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And now slowing that motion down, and as the jaw is gently dropping, allowing the breath to come in through the nose, and as the jaw is rising, allow the breath to come out through the nose. Notice it feels like a little pump. It's only a small motion of the jaw, but as it drops down, the breath comes in through the nose, and as it rises, the breath comes out through the nose. The lips stay closed, the tongue stays on the roof of the mouth, like a little pump. Notice how that fills your body, how you get a nice deep breath with that. And now we're going to change the emphasis round. Rather than having the emphasis on the jaw, we're going to bring the emphasis to the breath coming in through the nose. So as the breath comes in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. And as the breath comes out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice how everything lightens up at this point, and the jaw just follows the breath. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed, as if you're not even doing it. It's happening, but you're not doing it. It's no longer a doing, it's a happening. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. And feel that moving through your whole body. As you breathe in, the whole chest, the abdomen is opening, the jaw opens with it. Breathing out, the chest and abdomen close, and the jaw closes with it. Relaxed and easy, it becomes automatic. As you breathe in, the teeth are separating, gently separating. As you breathe out, the teeth are floating back together, but they barely touch. They just gently float together, or they don't touch at all. So there's no pressure, and the jaw just becomes an automatic movement with the breath, becomes part of the breath. No force, no doing, it is just naturally part of the breath. Relax the back of the head, relax the whole body. Notice it's a bit like every cell is opening on the in-breath and the jaw is following. Every cell is closing on the out-breath and the jaw is following. As if the whole face, the whole head, the whole brain also very subtly opening on the in-breath, closing on the out-breath with the jaw. As soon as the jaw becomes part of the breath, this deep breathing motion moves through your whole body, and you get the ability to travel in your body and feel this motion and this breath in every cell. Notice very subtly through the arms and legs, they're opening on the in-breath, they're closing on the out-breath. And notice you access all sorts of natural energies. You may feel the energy releasing in your spine and through your brain. You may feel your energy connecting to the earth. You may feel your energy connecting with the higher realms and the universe. Just naturally, it opens a gate. It opens up a new reality and access to different energies and your reflective nature through the earth and the higher realms. Gently breathing with the holographic breathing, relax your throat, relax your whole body. Okay, great. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourselves to come back. I've become quite inspired just recently, and because I always had this image that we weren't going to make it through the next 50 years, that despite all of everybody saying we got to cut back on carbon emissions and all sorts of things like that, I just figured people wouldn't have it in them to get rid of the car, have a smaller house, or cut back on what they needed to cut back to stop us killing the earth, or killing the species and then in the end us. Excuse me. And then through a list of coincidences, I started finding out about thorium power. And I'm not sure if people know what that is, but when nuclear power was first being invented, they had two types of reactors that they were experimenting. One was called, now you don't have to remember any of these words and you don't have to remember any of the science I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to talk it through just so you get a bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. But there were two types of power they were using. One was a molten salt reactor which used thorium, and the other was the uranium reactors that were using just water, high pressure water. And with the uranium reactors, they created a lot of waste that lasted, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of years. They were very, they didn't work very well. They only used, the reason there's so much waste from nuclear reactors is the fuel they put in only uses 6% of it. And then the fission products polluted all, so it can't be used anymore. And that's why it has to be left for so long for it to deplete. Whereas the molten salt reactors and the thorium, they used all of the thorium, which again is a radioactive material. So there was no waste. Intrinsically within the make of it, it couldn't melt down like all of these disasters we have with the other nuclear reactors. But there was a big difference between these two reactors. The very wasteful reactors that only use 6% of the fuel and were highly susceptible to melting down and had this huge radioactive waste that lasted for pretty well ever. As a byproduct in the waste, they produce plutonium, which could be used for bombs. They can process the waste, get the plutonium and make bombs. The thorium reactors, they had no waste and you couldn't make plutonium from them. In fact, they needed a bit of plutonium to make them work, so they actually ate plutonium. And the American government, in all its wisdom, decided to mothball the thorium reactors, and all of these scientists that thought that they produced carbon-free, pollution-free, cheap, natural energy for the whole earth for millions of years. All that science was mothballed, and they went ahead with the uranium reactors. And they've had these meltdowns. We've got all of this nuclear waste around the planet. There's this whole perception of that, how people perceive nuclear energy as this terrible thing. So this was quite extraordinary for me, and I started getting in contact with different people to try and help promote these thorium reactors. There's a lady in the British government called Baroness Worthington. She was very much behind it, and in a lot of the videos with this scientist, I was contacting her and also these scientists in America just to see, because the other thing you can make with these thorium reactors and these molten salt reactors is that they can actually use the nuclear waste that we have, that we've built up, that we don't know what to do with. Well, the governments know what they want to do with it. They can use it to harvest plutonium. But generally they're just left and for future generations to deal with. The thorium reactors and the molten salt reactors can use that nuclear waste as fuel. With the nuclear waste we've built up, which to be honest isn't a huge amount, it's about the size of a swimming pool ever since it started in the 50s or whenever, so it's not a huge amount. But with the thorium reactors, they could just use that nuclear waste as fuel, and we would have free electricity for the next 500 years. So I kind of started on a little mission, because they're closing down Sellafield at the minute, and I wanted that somehow it was brought about that they built a thorium reactor there to, because they don't know what to do with the nuclear waste there, that would either refine that nuclear waste so it could be used again with other reactors, or that it just used it as fuel. So that's kind of what was in my sphere. But also I wanted to look or teach people about the healing qualities of thorium, and I'm trying to remember, and the radioactive metals and gases, because we are part of the earth, so there is that aspect to us. We relate to the energy of radioactivity within ourselves, and even though, you know, I know you have nuclear power and nuclear power stations, and people see that as radioactive, everything around us, there's radioactivity coming out of just about everything. We have got that traveling through us all the time, and as far as I'm concerned, we're actually sustained by that energy. It's not something that kills us, it's something that sustains us. So I wanted to change this image and bring about a healing in ourselves and bring people in contact with that energy as a healing quality that we can move into a new age with, and hopefully in that new age, as part of renewable energies, we can use thorium reactors that can power the world for millions of years. Thorium is readily available. If you dig up a cubic meter of earth from just about anywhere, you will get a tiny bit of thorium in that. And that tiny bit of thorium from that cubic meter of earth is enough thorium to give you all of the electricity you use through your whole life, with no carbon emissions, no pollution, no waste. Then the size of a small marble, that will give you your whole power for your whole, to heat your house, to cook with, to drive your car, the power it takes for all the goods that you buy and produce, that are produced, the size of a marble. Again, no waste, no pollution. And it was interesting when Fukushima went off, I kind of brought out this petition to somehow get the United Nations to send in a team of scientists to somehow deal with that, because it was going to pollute the Pacific Ocean there. But they didn't do that. But also at the same time, I started writing about it on a scientific forum, because I wanted to understand more about nuclear power, what it was and the effects of it. And I started off very, very anti-nuclear power. But as it went on and I listened to these scientists, my view changed. And one of the things that changed it was that I realized that nuclear power and fission was a natural thing that actually happens in nature. In large areas of Africa, there was so much uranium in the soil, it started fissioning in the same way as a nuclear power station does. And that went on for tens or maybe even hundreds of thousands of years back in our past, before it all depleted itself. So it happened as a natural thing. And I wrote a post on this forum saying, well, uranium, plutonium, they're some of the heaviest metals that you can get. They're more dense and heavy. So will they be automatically within the earth drawn to the very center of the earth? And won't that intensity of them coming together produce a nuclear reaction? And is our earth actually a giant nuclear reaction where all of the molten metal and molten rocks and lava from the center of the earth, is that created by a giant nuclear reactor from the center of the earth? And they said yes, absolutely. The lava flows, the volcanoes, this huge heat from the center of the earth, that is a nuclear reaction. And that meant a lot to me, because I realized not only was it natural, it was the principal power that was driving our earth. And I saw the symmetry in it. Nuclear fission is when these large particles are breaking apart and producing energy. And I saw the polar opposite in the sun, where you've got the lightest material, hydrogen, and these are bonding together to make helium. That's fusion. It's going the other way. It's pulling elements together and producing energy. In the earth, they're pulling them, they're breaking apart and they're producing energy. So I saw the yin yang between the earth and the sun, and I started seeing the natural side of I keep forgetting the name, the radioactive materials of our planet. And it was interesting to me that the thorium reactors, rather than using water as the coolant, they used liquid salt, molten salt, and salt is a rock and it has to be heated to 6 or 700 degrees C before it melts. These molten salt reactors, it was interesting to me in that they are a small image of the Earth. In the middle you have the radioactive material in the same way as you have the radioactive material in the center of the Earth. Then around that you have the molten salt, which is like rock. And around the next layer in the Earth you have the molten rock, you have the lava. Then around that of the reactor you've got the solid container, which is like the surface of the Earth. So these molten salt reactors for me, they were like a little picture of the Earth. Also I started taking journeys into the Earth and down into, because I wanted to get to the energy of thorium, and I would drop into the center of the Earth and just be in that energy of the thorium, which I just found incredibly healing, and would come back and felt it healing through my whole body. And I just actually want to give a brief description of how our planet got here and how that thorium and those radioactive materials are born. Where our planet gets created from is a supernova. This is a huge star. Again, you don't have to remember any of this, and it starts off changing hydrogen into helium, and it works its way up to the periodic table, and it gets about a quarter of the way through till it gets to iron, and it can't go any further. And at that part, this whole star implodes, and it implodes quickly. It implodes at something like 50,000 miles a second. It all implodes into the middle, and in that implosion it creates more energy than our sun creates in its whole life. Just the energy created by imploding, and that creates all of the other minerals and metals and everything from the whole periodic table, including these really heavy radioactive rocks and everything. It all implodes into the middle at a quarter of the speed of light, and then that creates a black hole at the center, and then half it or some of it becomes a black hole. The rest of it explodes out, and all of these elements travel out at, I think, 1/10 of the speed of light. That's 20,000 miles a second. They're exploding out, and they fire out across the galaxy and the universe. And this dust and these bodies of metal and elements come together, and they create planets and different things. And that is where the Earth comes from. It comes from an imploded star, and that is how the thorium is created, in that incredible energy. And then when it starts fissioning, that implosion, when it's all compressing into those different elements and thorium and uranium, when they start breaking apart, they're unleashing that energy. So radioactivity is unleashing the energy that was built up in the last moments of a star, where this incredible energy is created in just moments. So it's an awesome energy that's built up, and then it gets released in the center of the Earth. So that is where, I'm sorry it was quite a long and drawn out thing, but I start looking up things on Wikipedia and I can't stop, and then you have to get blinded by science. I had to find it out to run the group, then you have to hear it because I'd done it. So that's how it gets created, and we're going to get a bit of that energy. So are we ready to go on this journey to the center of the Earth and go into thorium and into uranium and all of those metals? I hope so. So we're going to go there, and on this journey also from the energies of the different groups we've gone. As we go into the crust of the earth, this is more to do with the bones, the deep darker energies, the liver, the pancreas, the sexual energies, the pelvis. This is the heavier energies. Then as we move into the molten rock, this is more the fire circuit. It's to do with the heart, do with the ovaries, testes, the prostate, the uterus, the hara. And then as we move into the more, well, we're focusing on thorium. As we move into the thorium, this is more ether, this is that radioactivity, but as a subtle energy, how it's reflected in us. And it, at that point, the fire energy, even though it's hotter, it feels cooler. And you feel the ether and the kundalini raises. It relates a lot more to the head, the higher energies, the connection with the universe, the arms and legs. When we get to the very center of the earth, this connects us like the center of the supernova. You end up in deep space or the void or beyond. The earth breaks away and you end up in deep space, or the place everything is created out of and the place everything goes back to. Then when we come back to the earth, we don't land in the thorium, we land in our heart, which is the molten rock, the lava. And it's a bit like we're reborn then. We're like a baby in the uterus of the earth. And we're fed and we're nourished. You come to the surface, the crust of the earth, and this is like giving birth. This is like the vagina for the earth. It's like being born, and then as you come out, we're born back onto the surface. So this is a whole rebirth, and we may go on a bit longer past 9 o'clock. This will last about 20 minutes or so. So if you have to leave, you know, you can just, wherever we're up to, you can come back to your body and take it from there. So are we ready to go on this journey? Yeah. If you want to come back at any point, you just come back. If you get scared for some reason, you just come back. It's no problem. This when you arrive in the thorium in this, for me, you know, obviously if you go and stand next to something deeply activated, it will have a bad effect on you. But this is the subtle effects and the subtle energies of that. And for me, these feel fantastic for clearing diseases, for killing bugs, for killing virus, getting right into the joints, into the brain. And it seems to leave everything that is us, everything that is naturally us and healthy, and for me seems to kill all the little bugs and everything. So it seems very healing. All right, we're going to go on this journey. Okay, closing your eyes, gently dropping into the holographic breathing. And sending a smile down to the earth and asking the earth permission to drop down into her. And as you do that, you may feel that the earth is opening up below you, and you can either allow yourself to drop down into the earth, or you can allow the earth to rise up around you, allowing yourself to drop down in, or you can just stay where you are and allow the qualities of the earth to rise up around you. You drop this lovely deep, dark, cool energy of the earth, all the minerals of the earth. And as you do that, you may feel the spine relaxing, you may feel an energy rising in the spine. The earth is one of the drivers for our Kundalini. Feeling the earth, breathing and dropping down with the holographic breathing into the earth. On the in-breath, the jaw gently opens. On the out-breath, the jaw gently closes. The lips are closed all of the time, and the tongue is on the roof of the mouth all of the time, allowing yourself just to drop deeper and deeper into the earth, and allow that to heal your body. You may feel this in your bones, in the lower organs. It also relates a lot to the penis and vagina, the lower organs for the sexual organs. And dropping down into the earth, letting this heal you and you be with it. Just sinking and dropping and being with the earth and the crust of the earth. Let it move through your whole body, also your head, your brain. Notice the healing qualities of the earth. Notice how it relates to the deeper, darker energies in yourself, the gravity in yourself, your sit bones, your heels, the pelvis. And let those heal. Let yourself join with those energies. And breathe. And just gently dropping deeper and deeper. Maybe a mile deep into the earth. And notice as you get deeper, it gets quieter. And notice there's space around you, that it feels spacious. And there's a back and forth energy. And wherever you're feeling that, allow it to heal. Allow yourself to have an energetic connection with the earth. And below you, you can feel it getting warmer and hotter. You can see this warm, red energy coming towards you as you drop down, and allow yourself to drop down from the rock into the molten lava. Notice the change in quality. It may relate to your heart, may relate to the ovaries or testes or the uterus and prostate. Relates to the fire in you. And allow that to burn through your body as you drop deeper into the earth, communing with this molten lava. As you drop into the earth, healing. May affect the ovaries and testes a lot, or the uterus and prostate. Very healing for this. You may feel the energy in your heart. You've moved from the lower energies into the fire energies. Let it also go through your face, through your brain, It's lovely to feel this lovely fire energy burning through your bones. Through your skull, through your brain, through the face. Just dropping more and more. You may feel the heat intensifying, can feel quite sensuous sometimes. Certainly if it's healing the sexual organs, this can feel quite sensuous. It's a good way of healing ovaries, testes, uterus. You are in the womb of the earth, the fire of the earth. Below you, you can see it becoming lighter, more spacious. As you drop down towards this central part of the earth where you have the thorium, where you have the radioactive metals, and you have this whole radioactive furnace. You slowly drop out of the fire into the thorium. And notice it doesn't actually feel so hot. It goes past being hot, and it's very much like ether and light waves and radio waves. And rather than being scared of these are the center of our planet, allowing this radiation to burn through you. Notice how everything healthy in you is preserved, but it somehow seems to be able to kill the bugs, the viruses, the inflammation, the aging. And notice as you change from the fire circuit to the ether circuit, you get this energy rising up your spine. And it moves into your head. And you feel it releasing through your head into the higher energies. And let yourself be in that thorium. Let yourself be in that radioactive furnace, white light. And that resembles an energy in you. It's great to feel that burning through the joints, through the bones, through your blood, rather than it being something to be scared of and something to push away. Welcome it. Say hello to it. Feel that white energy burning through you and healing you. Gently breathing with the holographic breathing. The holographic breathing is your little rocket ship you're moving with. And sinking deeper and deeper to the center of the earth. And this radioactivity, this is the releasing of that energy that was built up in that star imploding. It implodes in the star into incredible pressure and heat, and in the earth starts breaking up as radioactivity, and that energy is released. Allow that energy from the end of that star to release and heal through your whole body, through your brain, through everything. Gently breathing. And as you drop deeper and deeper towards the center of the earth, gravity starts balancing, everything starts becoming much gentler and softer. Everything starts becoming more meditative. And as you come to the very center of the earth, gravity is completely balancing out. And notice there's a darkness and a coolness. And as you move into the very center of the earth, this white energy is disappearing from around you, and the whole earth is breaking up from around you. And you're left in this much deeper, dark, cool, expansive void or space, like deep space. And the place everything goes to die, and the place everything is born out of. You drop into creation. It's like being deep in space, and you can let that nothingness, that emptiness, roll through you as an energy, as a deeply healing energy. You can die into this energy. You can let go of everything into this energy. Everything you built up, everything you carry, every illness, every thought, every bit of baggage, you can die, and you can let that all go home. In this deep nothingness. You can also start feeling like a little fetus in its sac of clear fluid, like a star child or baby, absorbing starlight as you move out from the center. You may also feel that. And at a certain point it feels right to come back to the earth. And as you do, you also feel the earth pulling and a recognition. And you move back into the earth, but you don't land in the thorium. You land in your heart, in the fire circuit, the molten rock, the womb of the earth. Notice your heart. It activates your heart. You arrive in your heart. You arrive in the fire, molten rock. And it's a bit like being in the womb of the earth and being a young baby in the womb, being fed, being nurtured by this fire energy. And you're slowly rising in the womb, back, up through this fire energy towards the surface, the harder rock. It's a little baby in your own sac fluid, gestating and growing and being nurtured and fed, until by the time you come to the starting to get harder, cooler, you are formed. And as you press up against the harder rock, your little sac breaks and you move up into the crust of the earth. And notice as you do, you feel your body connects you to your physicality, to your bones, to your lower energies. This is the vagina for the earth and the lower energies for the earth, and you are being born. Allow it, this energy, to travel through your body and your spine. Let your spine lengthen, the neck lengthen. You don't have to be compressed. You can let this all lengthen out as you're drawn up through the crust of the earth. It's a little baby being born, and notice how you feel your physicality. This crust of the earth, it's to do with the deeper, darker energies and your physicality and your strength. Notice you start feeling your strength, the energy traveling through your spine. Let your neck lengthen and your head lengthen. As you slowly rise to the surface, and you can go at your own speed. There's no hurry. Everything naturally unfolding at the speed you want to go, until you're coming more to the surface. You may also feel it quite sexual. As we go into the earth, the sexual energies are releasing out and up through the higher energies. As we're being born back, the energies are dropping down, more down through the sexual organs. So it may feel quite sexual or orgasmic as you're coming to the surface of the earth. Orgasmic birth. And your head starts coming out through the surface of the earth as you slide back into your room. You were born out of the earth, a new child of the earth and the universe. You take your first breath, gently breathing with the holographic breathing. You can feel the earth below you. You can tune in at whatever level you want. You can feel the crust. You can feel the magma. Notice you can drop down into this whole thorium layer and this white, healing, radioactive energy as a healing energy. The subtle reflection of that energy burning through you and healing you. It's very good for the thyroid. So you're still in contact with that, and you're surrounded by the aura of the earth, and you have the sun and the higher energies, and breathe. You are born anew, a star child. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourselves to come back. You probably won't want to say much, so there's no need to share. It's best just to hold that nice space. Be with that. I'm just going to talk for a little bit about what will be coming up next, but just be in that nice I've just been born state, born a universal star child. Next Sunday we'll be carrying on working with these fire energies and the earth energies, and also taking it through another circuit as well, but we won't be traveling into the earth. We do this in a way that we work with the different bones, different areas of the body, and they instigate those different energies. This is very powerful. People are really enjoying these. And we'll be doing that next Sunday. So if you wish to come along, please do. I'll be making this into a video, so you can share that video or watch that video again whenever you want. And just slowly allowing yourself to come back.